Hey everybody, I'm going to go over the Geometry Polynomials Worksheet today if you need help getting started on it. Hopefully this can help you. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to do it in Cami. And you might do it in Cami or you might print it out and do it on paper. If you do it on paper, then just show your work and take a picture of it. If you do it in Cami, you still need to show me a little bit of work. Show me a little bit about what you're thinking so I know to give you feedback. And then when you turn it in, check your email because I'm screenshotting things and I'm checking it and I'm sending email. I'm sending some responses back with email because I can attach pictures of what I'm talking about in an email. So be sure to check your email every single day. Okay. All right. So this is going over a number of concepts, and it's going over concepts with polynomials. And the big thing with polynomials is that if you have this mouse. If you have x plus x, then this is equal to 2x, okay? And that's a different rule than when you have x times x. When you have x times x, notice that you're adding the exponents. So this is like x to the first, so you get x squared. But when you add polynomials, you do not change the exponents, you only add the coefficients. This would be like 1x plus 1x, okay? That's kind of like the big thing to know. If you can get that down, then you can apply that rule to almost anything in this polynomials worksheet, and you can use that to save yourself in algebra, pretty much all the way through algebra 2, okay? So number one was this area of the square. This is multiply. So you're going to have 5x to the fourth times y squared. Times y squared. And then you're going to multiply it or you square it. Multiply by itself or you're going to square it. It's the same thing, right? So multiply by 5x to the fourth y squared, and I got a little jumbled up there, but that's okay. It's okay. All right, and then so how do you do it? We'll just multiply it out. 5 times 5 is 25. And then like we said up here, you got to know when you multiply variables, you got to add the exponents. So you have x to the fourth times x to the fourth. So that means 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, and then y squared times y squared, that's going to be 2 plus 2 is to the fourth. Okay, so notice that you're just multiplying it because area is length times width, or however you want to say it. And you're just going to multiply, the same side because it's a square. And so you just multiply it out. The coefficients times the coefficients and the variables times the variables, okay? And the perimeter, this is where you add. So, another way to say this is you have 4 sides that are all the same. So you distribute the 4 sides to 5 times x to the fourth y squared. It's a parentheses right there. So that's how I do that. And then same thing right here. I would definitely recommend drawing it out. But you have a length of 6x minus 10. And then you have a width of 4x plus 3. And in order to find the perimeter, you'll double this and then add them together. So you just add them together. And the area is where you multiply these two. Now these two, these are called binomials because there's 2 parts. So when you multiply binomials, we're going to remember to double distribute. And we also call this FOIL in class, right? And so you're going to take the 6x and multiply it to the 4x. And then you're also going to distribute the 6x and multiply it to the negative 3. And then you're going to double distribute the negative 10 next as well. So you're going to have 4 different products, or you're going to have 4 multiplication answers, and then you're going to simplify. So 6x times 4x is 24. And then remember our rule? Our rule is that when you multiply x times x, you add the exponents, right? So x times x is x squared. So this will be x squared. Now the rest of the time, you're not going to have x times x. That's the only multiplication where you're going to multiply x times x. So 6x times negative 3 is negative 18x. And then negative 10 times 4 is negative 40x. And then negative 10 times negative 3. Negative times a negative is a positive. So 10 times 3 is 30. Okay, now this isn't done. You're going to combine like terms right here using your adding principle, okay? So this isn't done, but I'm hoping you guys can finish it for me, all right? Okay, find the perimeter of this. No, it doesn't say find the perimeter. It says the perimeter is 12x minus 7. So you have 12x minus 7. And then you know two of the parts. And so you know, if you take away these two parts, if you subtract these two parts, then it tells you the missing side, right? Because it's this plus this plus this is this. All right, so we're going to take away the sum or the total of these two things. Well, x and 8x make 9x, and negative 8 and positive 4 make negative 4. Okay, now I wrote the second part in parentheses, okay? Why did I write it in parentheses? Because this represents one number, okay? And so you're taking this number and you're subtracting it from this number. So, I want you to be careful with your negative signs. 12x minus 9x. Hopefully that should seem a little easy. Okay, but then this one, you're really saying negative 7 minus negative 4. Well, when you read it that way, you know that you're minusing a negative. And what's that? Well, when you minus a negative, that's like adding. So negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. Okay? Careful with that. It's not negative 7 minus 4. That would be negative 11. But instead, it's negative 7 minus negative 4. Okay? Find the total area of both these rectangles. This would be same thing. You have 3x. And then you're going to multiply it. This is 2x plus 5. So you're going to distribute the 3x and multiply it. And your answer is going to be in two parts. It's going to be a binomial, okay? And then same thing right here. Number 6 says find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so the area of the shaded region is really the big rectangle. And then you take away or you subtract the area of the small rectangle, okay? So multiply the big, that would be 2x plus 3 times 4x minus 5. And then you're going to subtract your answer to 3x plus 2 times x minus 8. Okay, so you're going to FOIL this. That's just like the problem we did above. Then you're going to FOIL this, and you're going to subtract them. And remember, when you subtract them, you're going to subtract the entire polynomial. So let's see. It should be 2x times 4x. It should be 8x squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10, and 3 times 4 is 12, so plus 2x. And I want you to show your work on your paper. I don't want you to write out the way I'm doing. if you do these enough, you can do them in your head. If you have not done them enough, I don't want you to try them in your head. And I especially don't want you to try them in your head for the test. And then 3 times -5 is -15. So this is your first polynomial. This is a trinomial. And we're going to subtract the second. So 3x times x is 3x squared. And this is 3x times -8 is -24x. And 2 times x is 2x. So it'd be -22x. And then 2 times 8 is -16. Okay, so here it is. So remember, positive minus a positive is pretty easy, but right here you have a negative. So it's 2x minus -22. So remember, this is actually going to be like 2x plus 22. And then the same thing right here, -15 minus negative. So it's actually going to change to like plus 16 essentially, okay? And that's what your shaded region is. Find the perimeter and area of a rectangle with a length of 6 and a width of x plus 2. So definitely draw it out. Okay, all the word problems with shapes, I really, really recommend drawing it out just so you don't mess something up, something little. And same thing goes for the ACT. When you take the ACT, take half a second to sketch. And if you can practice sketching stuff right here off of reading it, then you're going to be able to have the time because you're going to do it quickly on the ACT. The first couple times you try to draw a sketch off of a word problem, you're going to struggle with it. It's going to be very difficult. And that's okay. Nobody does things fast the first time. It takes practice to get quick at it. And that's why you need to do this every single day. So you've done this before and your muscle memory in your hand goes and your brain has seen this before, and you're not learning it on the fly. Okay. Is there anything else in here I want to talk about? The perimeter of the square, find the area. Okay, so the perimeter is 40x the fourth plus 16. Let's run with this, x squared. And then this is essentially like the total of the 4 sides. Okay, so you have a square, and each one of these represents 1/4 of this. So the way you can think about with perimeter, not with area, but with perimeter, is you can divide by 4. Okay, so how do you divide by 4? Well, you can do what we did when we rewrote equations, and we drew the hearts right here for this because you had 2 parts on top. And you're going to divide by 4 to everything, okay? So your answer is going to be 40 divided by 4 is 10. And we never touch the variables or the exponents when we divide by just a regular constant. Okay, if we had an x under here, we would touch them, but we're not for this one. And then this is 16 divided by 4, which is 4. And then that term is x squared. Okay, so this is what each side. So if you think about it, you have 10x to the 4th plus 4x squared here, and 10x to the 4th plus 4x squared here, and 10x to the 4th plus 4x squared here, and so on. The perimeter, when you add them all up, is 40x to the 4th plus 16x squared. And that's the same thing. It goes back to our rules when you add, okay, when you add your, sorry, I was messing with the clicker a little bit. When you add your polynomials, you don't change the exponents. And you need to remember that you need the same like terms, variables, and exponents in order to be able to add the coefficients, okay? All right, what else do we have here? I think these are pretty much the same. And the quantity is subtracted from, okay, so remember this, write it out. And then when you write minus, you're going to put x squared. No, that's not true. You got to read it the right way. Where's my eraser at? I'm only writing half the problem, but it's what you're going to subtract. If you read this, you're subtracting 4x squared from the other one, right? I can't write off the screen, off the paper. Okay, so remember you're minusing a negative. What you can do if you don't want to minus a negative is you can change it to plus, and then you can change all these. Okay, so if you change, you can change this to adding where you don't have minus and negative. And then if you change all the signs in the bottom one, not the top one or not the first one, then you'll get the same answer, okay? Because minus a negative is the same thing as plus. Minus negative is the same thing as plus, and plus a negative is the same thing as minus a positive, okay? All right, try this one, and then I want you guys to stop at 15. Some of you guys are probably going to not read the directions and go past 15. If you do the rest, I'll throw some extra credit your way. But I only want you to get to number 15 for what we have to learn for the unit, okay? The rest is pretty good, but we're not going to touch it on the exam, so I'm not really interested in giving you more work than you need, okay? All right, so hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, reach out. Remember to practice math every single day so it's not piling up on you and you're not getting stressed out by it. And, definitely remember to take care of yourselves, okay? Reach out if you have any questions.